started back in high school about 24 years ago with hormonal imbalances, irregular cycles. I had the red bumps and a lot of discomfort, weight gain, and splitting headaches. Also, I dealt with something that a lot of people didn't talk about back then. I used to have moments every 1 or 2 months where I'd have this kind of dark cloud come over me, and it would last for maybe 2 weeks. And it'd be a period where I didn't want to see people. I felt really detached from them, a bit of hopelessness, and during that time, I actually used food and carbs as a coping mechanism. So then moving forward to 7 years in my mid-20s, my symptoms got worse and I got more symptoms. I had chronic fatigue. I was sluggish all the time, but there were times when I had waves of extreme fatigue where I'd fall asleep within a couple minutes and I'd have to be asleep for 2 to 3 hours. So sometimes I'd be sleeping 12, 13 hours a day. Often that meant dropping out of plans with friends last minute, and even for work, I would miss deadlines or even not finish projects at all. I also had brain fog. So in my early 20s, I used to be able to memorize 5 tables worth of orders as a waitress, and I had no problems. I didn't have to write it down. But then now at age 27, I had to write everything down, and also sometimes why I needed to remember those things. Mm-hmm. So that was a real big problem. Another issue I had was circulation from my thigh and my left leg all the way down to my foot. It just felt like someone was squeezing it. It was so painful. And this was problematic because I drove a manual car. And I also had sensitivity to cold. You'd always find me in a parka. And those red bumps that I had on my face, they just exploded, literally covering the bottom half of my face. Oh. And the weight gain got worse. And also because of all those things that I was experiencing, even those dark cloud moments got worse. And the weird thing about it was that this happened in cycles. So it would be 3 to 4 weeks of this on, and then suddenly it would change and I would have energy. I wouldn't have the red bumps for 1 or 2 weeks, and then it would come all back. It was a really crazy, vicious cycle. So I did go to 5 doctors. I tried to get some help, but they did the thyroid test and I came out on the lower end of normal, which, if you don't hit that number, they can't do anything for you, or they won't do anything for you. So I did go alternative. I tried different therapies, acupuncture, steam therapies, Chinese medicine, supplements, and nothing was able to give me that relief. So fast forward 3 years ago, so that was about 14 years. 3 years ago, my aunt introduced me to ASEA. So when I heard about it, I thought, you know what, if anything's going to work, this is going to work. So I actually started on double the maintenance dosage, and I didn't feel anything at all for the first 3 weeks. And then on day 21, my fatigue level was just extreme. I slept for 4 days straight, about 14 hours a day. Wow. And I also had a slight headache. But then came day 26. So on that day, I woke up at 5 a.m. I normally woke up at noon, and I would have to drag myself out of bed. But that day, I woke up at 5 a.m. full of energy, and my mental clarity was so clear. It felt like someone took a big, heavy blanket off of me. It was amazing. And also, when I was out and about during the day, the sounds, like the birds and my vision, the colors of the trees and flowers and everything, it was just enhanced. I don't know how to describe it, except it was like a scene out of a movie, really. Yeah. It was just amazing. And then after that, that became my normal, right? So it wasn't so enhanced every day. But during my second month, I had this weird thing where for 1 week, everything I ate became salty. And I remember that because we had a celebration and we had a cake, and I took one bite of it and I was like, what is this? It's so salty. And everyone else is like, oh, it's good. And I was like, okay. The following week, everything tasted so sweet, like someone dumped a cup of sugar on it. It could be the most savory dish, and it would just taste awful. So after that, my taste buds went back to normal. And what I noticed was that carb craving that I had, I actually realized that it went away because I would walk in out of habit, grab a piece of bread, put it in my mouth, and literally my body told me, you don't want this. And I would have to spit it out. That is how strong that objection was from my body. So that was amazing. I had no new red bumps. And in the third month though, so everything that happened that changed for the better was still there. But in the third month, nothing else got better. Nothing else changed. It was kind of a lull. And that kind of put me at pause because I was like, oh no, is this it? Not that it was bad, but I would love the other symptoms to go away. And I just stuck to it, 30 days more. And by day 95, the rest of my symptoms went away. And I just had this wave of a sense of well-being just come over me.
Yeah.
And other people had told me that they felt that too. So it was really amazing. Yeah. And 1 year into this, I realized that I was having no more of those dark cloud moments.
Yeah.
I had worked on it for a long time, over 10 years, coming up with little ways to help myself get out of it. But every year I still had 2 major dips where it would last 3 to 5 weeks. But a year into ASEA, none, not even an inkling of it,
And you're now 3 years in, no problems.
So now I have no symptoms, still no symptoms, and my health keeps getting better. So my family has a history of receding gums. And ever since I was about 27, I've always had 2, 3s, and 4s when they do that gum pocket count every year. Now, 6 months after starting, I went back, and for the first time, none of them got worse. I mean, every year, a couple of them would get worse. And then I just went back 2 months ago, and that's 2 years after. And there's 0 number 4s. Amazing. I mean, I asked my dentist, who's very knowledgeable. She's on top of things. And I asked her, what could you have told me about that could have given this kind of result? And she said, absolutely, there's nothing out there.